Before 1998, violence was uncommon in the small town of Laurel, Montana. When a woman got raped, stabbed, and had her throat slit in September of that year, residents were left shocked and wondered who could have done it. 2 months later, 18-year-old Miranda Fenner was killed in a similar manner. Now, after 2 decades, the perpetrator has been caught and brought to book. Hello and welcome back to my channel, friends. Please support my channel by subscribing and hitting the bell icon for more crime cases. Miranda Fenner, a young woman with her entire life ahead of her, was only attempting to complete a shift at work when everything was abruptly taken from her. Sherry and Mike Fenner welcomed their daughter, Miranda Fenner, into this world on December 26, 1979. Miranda and her younger brother, Tim, were raised in Sacramento, California, before the family made the choice to relocate to Laurel, Montana in the year 1990. They wanted to get away from such a big city and also be closer to family. Miranda Fenner had deep dimples in her cheeks, dark hair, and eyes. Her large heart and compassionate nature are remembered by her friends and family. She loved animals and had a desire to work with kids one day. Her mother, who always supported the underdog, had misgivings about some of Miranda's friends but was aware of Miranda's sincere desire to uplift those around her. Additionally, she was never afraid to express her opinions, and one of her teachers called her feisty. A few months prior to the time she was murdered, Miranda was involved in a car accident that resulted in a broken neck. This made her constantly wear a brace neck and was unable to leave the house until she fully recovered. Due to this, after her healing, Miranda was excited to take up a job at the movie store, a locally owned video rental store in Laurel, which is now closed. Given that her grandparents ran the Lohoff Motel across the street, her parents felt comfortable allowing her to work there. The movie store was only 3 blocks from her home, so she had no need to be concerned for her safety, though she frequently closed the movie store by herself. This was a typical scenario for young people working in retail at the time, and on many occasions. The worst that can happen is that a customer wanders in at closing hour. On the 15th of November 1998 appeared to have been a normal day for Miranda Fenner. Her shift came, and she made her way to the movie store. Though that evening, her shift became anything but normal. Miranda called her mother, and then her uncle. Both calls appeared to be normal. However, the night changed drastically for the worse around 8 p.m. 2 fishermen saw a crawling Miranda in front of the movie store's door at 8:20 p.m., bleeding and obviously hurt. They immediately stopped to assist her. After they dialed 911, police showed up shortly after. Just about that same time, Miranda's brother Tim, who rode his bike to the movie store to rent a video game, saw the police lights flashing. He stopped and turned around to call Mike, their father, who then came to the store as well. Officers informed Mike what had happened and told him that Miranda was being transported by Life Flight helicopter to St. Vincent's Hospital in Billings, which was about 15 miles away. Sherry immediately left work after learning from her mother that Miranda had been rushed to the hospital. While Miranda Fenner's life was being frantically saved by doctors, Sherry and Mike made their way to the clinic and waited eagerly to learn about their daughter's condition. Unfortunately, as Miranda underwent surgery to treat her injuries, she passed away. It was at that point that Sherry and Mike discovered that their daughter had been murdered. Even though Miranda Fenner's murder scene was gruesome, there wasn't much evidence left behind. Miranda had suffered multiple head stab wounds as well as a slashed throat. There was no weapon left behind at the crime scene, and there were no leads found in the fibers and hairs that may have been left behind by her attacker at the scene. Police were unable to identify a suspect or the motive. Although it was noted that a small amount of cash had been taken from the video store's cash register, robbery could not be completely ruled out as a possibility. Investigators questioned over 700 witnesses for 2 decades. They pursued a handful of leads, including a number of false confessions, but it was in vain. Miranda Fenner's parents never gave up hope that the killer or killers of their daughter will be apprehended. The case, however, went cold for almost 2 decades. In 2012, Miranda's case was transferred to Billings Metro Police's Cold Case Unit, which continued to look into the case. In the year 2016, the Yellow County Police got another confession from Zachary O'Neill, a minor offender from the area. He was admitting to the 1998 killings of both the raped woman and Miranda Fenner. The police had previously dealt with numerous false confessions, and the man's account did not make sense. Though she was still alive, the man claimed to have killed the rape victim. Additionally, the information he provided about Miranda's murder was a well-known public knowledge. Also, Zachary O'Neill happened to have confessed from a psychiatric hospital in Washington. The police brushed off his confession, but a determined Zachary returned to the Yellowstone County Jail in March 2017. At the time, he was intoxicated, but he admitted to the crimes once more, providing more details. The police took his DNA before releasing him. Because an arrest in Montana cannot be made based solely on a confession, they had to verify his account. Zachary O'Neill's confession was, however, true. His DNA matched the evidence in the raped woman's case. He had left her for dead after slitting her throat. He was confessing to her murder because he was unaware that she had lived. And on the day of Miranda's murder, Zachary had been present in the video store twice. Members of his family claimed that the second time, he arrived only moments before Miranda was attacked. At the time, Zachary, who was 18 years old, had been questioned by the police, but denied being involved in Miranda Fenner's murder. During the investigation in 2019, Zachary O'Neill claimed that he used to steal back then in 1998 to support his drug habit. He said he was on meth the day he killed Miranda Fenner. According to him, the first time he went to the store was to rent movies. A few days later, Miranda rang him up for the movies he had rented. When his mother, with whom he was living at the time, saw one of the films, she ordered him to return it because it was pornographic. He, however, went back to the store not just to return the movie, but to also rob it. Zachary waited for all customers in the store to depart before he struck. According to him, he stabbed Miranda out of fear that she would recognize him after the robbery. He ignored the murder for years, but eventually his conscience caught up with him. After his own brother was murdered in 2013, it was a relief when his killers were apprehended. He therefore desired for Miranda's family to experience the same closure. In August 2019, Zachary O'Neill went on trial for both Miranda's murder and the attempted murder rape of the other woman. He pleaded guilty and was given 2 life sentences.